Alright, boys and girls, in life, timing is everything. And the same thing can be said about cars. So today we're doing timing on the Blob Eye. So I took your guys' recommendations and got the Aicin, I believe is how you pronounce it, timing belt kit. So it comes with a new water pump, all the bearings, the timing belt itself, everything except for a thermostat. I have a thermostat. It's out for delivery today with Amazon. It was supposed to be delivered yesterday, but it's the holidays, so I am totally aware that everything is going to be a little bit late. So let me kind of show you guys what this Aicin timing belt kit does. Then I want to walk through a couple things that I did on the Blob Eye yesterday with you guys, and then we'll get into installing this timing belt kit on the car. I'll show you how to do it. It's pretty easy. There's a lot of other YouTube videos out there that like walk you through the process, and they give you a nice little like technical document, but let's start going over this stuff. So for the most part, it's a pretty good looking kit. So like I said, does come with a brand new water pump, all of the bearings, the pulleys, everything that we need, the new tensioner for the timing belt, and then the timing belt itself. Now a couple tools that I do suggest you guys get is if you guys don't have one of these Company 23 crank pulley tools, highly suggest getting one. This one is mine, Jose. I still have yours up there. I need to get that back to you, my dude. But it's pretty self-explanatory. We have some 12s, 14, and a 10. And then this is the technical document that I was talking about. So they give you like this nice walkthrough, step by step on how to do everything. It's really not that bad to do. So what we're gonna do, like starting out here, is we're gonna end up loosening all of these pulleys, getting the old timing belt off, making sure all of our timing marks are lined up, and I'll show you guys where all of those marks are also. But this is not as bad as people make it out to be. Now, if you were to go to Subaru and have them do your timing belt for you, they're gonna charge you around $800 to $1,200 depending on what dealer you go to. This timing belt kit right here cost me just around $300, so you can save a pretty penny if you decide to do it yourself. And I'll show you guys how to do it. It's really not that bad. They give you like all of these like technical drawings where all of the timing marks are supposed to line up on here also, so it's pretty cool that they do that for us. Now, before we jump into timing, there's a couple things I did on the car yesterday off camera that I want to go over with you guys. So obviously I did get this headlight back in. I need to get a new set of headlights for this car. This one's cracked right down here in the bottom. You can see it right there. And then this one over here, the passenger side, has just been beat to hell. So I'm trying to save this tab on it right now. I've got some plastic bond weld on there to try to save that tab. But like, I went through and tried to reseal this headlight. The threads in there are just trash at this point. They're not holding on to anything. So unfortunately, this set of headlights might get scrapped out for a future project later down the road, and we'll probably end up snagging a new set of headlights. Now on the inside of the car, I did get this window fixed. It does roll up and down now, thank God. So, and the door card's back on. Yes, I know it's supposed to be blue and it's black. The last owner rewrapped them or swapped 2.5 RS door cards in here or something. I don't know. But the whole issue with this door is at first I thought it was the button. It's not the button. What it was is inside of the door, you have a scissor arm that actuates the window up and down off of the motor. Now, on that scissor arm is a spring. It's like a tension spring. That spring fell off and it was in the bottom of the door, so no wonder the door didn't want to go up or down anymore. There was no tension on it. But that's done. The new floor mats are in the car, nothing crazy, just the OEM STI floor mats. They look good. And then the other fun fact thing that I figured out yesterday is this. So if you don't know what this is just by looking at it, this is an SRS airbag connector. Guess where I found this? Boop! It was cut off the harness underneath of the passenger seat, so that passenger seat has no airbag harness hooked up to it because I don't have the connectors. So I don't know what I'm gonna do to fix that. I was gonna try to rewire it here in the garage, but the thing is, on the body harness that comes out of the actual harness going under the carpet up to the seat, the wires are color coded. There's yellow with black stripe, yellow with red stripe. On the harness going to the seat, the wires are just yellow. So, like I've said in the past, I don't know a ton about airbag stuff. That's not something I'm gonna play with, but we'll get it figured out in the future. So, for the most part, I'm pretty sure that's all I did off camera yesterday. So let's start getting this timing stuff off. The way I'm gonna start doing this is loosening all of the idlers and pulleys first. I'm not gonna fully take them off yet. Once we have them all broken loose, we're gonna get the tensioner off of there. Actually, we'll take off that lower pulley first, upper pulley, tensioner, cam gear right there, and the water pump. So let's get into it. Bam! Bam, timing is off the car, water pump is off the car. I tried to get as much of the pink coolant out of the actual engine as I could. I also pulled off the crossover tube that feeds the OEM oil cooler because on the stock, well, on the one that was on the car, the tube was like blown out and wrecked. So I did snag a new one from Subaru. I think that was like a $10 hose too, so that better be the best hose I've ever used for 10 bucks for being that short. So now that we have timing off the car, water pump off the car, it's time to start reassembling a lot of this. So I cleaned up in here inside the timing covers also because now is the perfect time to do so. So we need to get the water pump on. That's going to be the first thing we do. Get the water pump on. Once the water pump is on, then we can start dealing with all of the timing stuff. So baby steps here, you guys. So let me get this new water pump on and then I'll start walking you guys through all of the timing components. But actually, before we jump into that, I do want to show you guys this. Let me move this light a little bit. As you guys can see, there are timing marks right there. So that timing mark is lined up with that one. You can also see it on the pulley itself. Come over here, we have a timing mark on top of the intake cam on the driver's head. That lines up with the timing cover right there. Now down here are two marks line up also. That's pretty good. That mark lines up on that side. Let me get the water pump on, then I'm going to start swinging through here and start fixing all of this. That water pump did not want to go on. Like, Jesus, it's on now. The gasket kept falling off the backside because it's a metal gasket. It just doesn't want to stick. So, water pump's on. All the water lines are hooked back up. You have two on the right side. And then you've got the one that goes to the oil cooler. So that's the oil cooler right there. And then on the right side down there, you can see those two hose clamps right in the center of the screen underneath the timing cover. So water pump's on, all of that's torqued down. Those go to 9 foot-pounds. Don't over tighten those because you'll strip the bolts and then you're not gonna have a good time. So now when it comes to timing everything, so this is where all the magic happens. So like I said, our timing on the main crank is lined up. Our timing over here on the intake cam for the driver's side head is off about a tooth. Down there, I can't really see, but you can see that yellow mark on the side of the exhaust cam or exhaust cam gear. That's going to line up with the timing cover over there. I can see the mark down there. Once I get it lined up, I'll get a little bit better of a picture. Same thing over here. That bottom line on that exhaust cam is going to line up with the timing cover. Same thing up here. That yellow mark is going to line up with the timing cover up there. So let me go through here, get all of these lined up and timed properly. The way that we're going to do this, we're going to start from that main crank pulley right there. Go to intake, exhaust, exhaust, intake. Now for this intake cam over here, you can move it pretty freely with your hand if you need to get it retimed. Over here, we're gonna have to take off the cover for the actual cam gear to be able to get to the Allen key to be able to turn that cam. So it's just gonna be a little funky, but we'll get it. So I'm not gonna time lapse this. I'm just gonna put it on record as I'm going through this. It'll probably be a little bit jumpy because I'm sure you guys don't wanna watch every little thing that I'm doing, but all the main points will hit as I'm going through this. So like I said, first up, we're gonna start with this main crank pulley. It's actually, you know what? It's pretty lined up on, it's pretty on point right there. Bam, right there. So we're lined up. So like I said, on that main pulley, we have one timing mark. It's gonna line up with that other little yellow timing mark. You cannot miss it. It's perfect. So now we're gonna jump over here to the intake driver's cam. So the small cover right here is gonna have to come off. They're just 3 8mm bolts, and that one is lined up. Now for these side ones, you may have to get a mirror or go up and down on the car to be able to see them, just because they are in a funky spot. But you're gonna wanna make sure it's lined up perfectly. I'm gonna grab a mirror. So if you got a boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, I don't know, if you got someone who has a mirror or you get a mirror, grab a mirror because it's gonna make timing a lot easier. So over here on the side, now I'm able to see timing a lot better. They make timing mirrors also, but this works out just fine. I can see everything that I need to. And we are timed on that side at least. So we have our 2 marks lining up. Our intake 1 mark is lining up with our timing cover. Exhaust port is lining up with the timing cover. Now I can jump over here to the passenger side, do the exact same thing that I did on this side. Perfect. So I believe everything's timed correctly. So before I even go to putting on any pulleys or anything like that, I'm gonna run through all of this again, make sure all the marks are lined up. Timing is critical. If your timing is off, your engine's going to be very angry at you. It'll throw off the combustion cycle of how you're driving, and your car is just, it's not gonna enjoy it. So I'm gonna use the mirror, go around all of these one more time, make sure that all of them are good. I'm gonna like triple check. I'm gonna triple check all of this. We may have to readjust some of these as we go to put the pulleys on and the timing belt on, because I'm sure they're going to move just a hair. But that's totally fine if they do. We can readjust the cam gears as needed to be able to get all of this in there. So, like I said, let's run through, let's make sure all these are good. All right, so at this point we have our pulleys on. We're ready to start laying the belt down. So the ones that you're gonna put on to start with is the idler right next to the main gear, the tensioner right next to the main gear, the little cam sprocket down there, leave it loose a little bit just to give you a little bit of play, and then we have our our water pump pulley in there also. So next, I'm gonna start getting the belt laid out. So there is an orientation for the belt. Once I actually get it seated on there, I'll show you guys the orientation, just so you can see what it looks like on the car versus me just like showing it to you guys on the bench, which probably wouldn't do much help. So let me get this belt laid on. Once I get the belt on, I'll walk you guys through and I'll show you like where all of the timing marks on the belt need to line up with the cams. Yo, that went so much easier than it did last time I did this. So up here, you can see we have one timing mark right there. It lines up with the mark on the cam gear and lines up with the mark on the timing cover right back there. Perfect. Center line. So we've got this dotted line right here. That's gonna line up with the actual sprocket for the crank. Next up, lettering right there should be facing you, should be facing up right underneath of that tensioner. Moving along, we have the next mark right there, lined up with our timing, lined up with the center mark right up there on the actual cover. Down there, I'll try to get a mirror to show you guys. Same with that side, hold up. Actually, let me get the light down there so that way you guys can see. So let me see if I can even show this on camera. So right back there, you can see the line on the timing belt. It lines up with our cam, and then it also lines up with the timing cover back there. I don't know if I can even be able to show you guys on this side with the camera. Let me try the other side. It might be a little bit better. So let's get our mirror down in there. Oh God, dude, there's even more stuff. Not necessarily. You can kind of see it. So right there on the timing belt, I mean, you can kind of see that line in between my hand and the cam sprocket down there. Doing this by myself, it's just, I'm not gonna be able to really show you guys those bottom ones, but we now have all of our pulleys on here. Everything is good to go. The timing is lined up. We have our grenade pin right there ready to be pulled. I'm not gonna pull that till we torque down all of these pulleys. Something to check and just make sure as you're going through this is make sure the timing belt is centered on those gears and those pulleys. Too far back, it could hit something on the actual block. Too far forward, obviously it could slip off. I mean, I don't think it would just like fly off on you unless it was like really hanging over the edge. Once there's tension on it, it's not going to move at all. I also loosened these timing guides up here on the cams and the one above the cover right there. We are going to reinstall those, but it does make putting the timing belt on just a little bit easier. We'll readjust that here in a minute and slide it down to make sure that the timing belt doesn't go anywhere. But let's tighten all these down. So if you buy this Aicin kit, they do give you torque values on everything. Pretty much everything gets torqued down to 29 foot-pounds. Actually, everything gets tightened down to 29 foot-pounds. So let me torque all of that down. Then we'll pull the grenade pin right there and set tension. Bam, we've got everything torqued down, tightened down, good to go. We have our grenade pin pulled off the tensioner. There's a little bit. You should be able to move the belt just a hair like that, but all of that is good. Now, I should have done the thermostat earlier, but I was waiting for Amazon to drop it off, and they literally just dropped it off. So let's get this thermostat in. We'll get the coolant elbow dealio going off the water pump back on. When you install this, that small breather port on top, you want to make sure that that is facing up. Let's get this thermostat installed. If you are reusing yours, the Aicin kit does give you a new thermostat gasket, which is nice. I just bought a brand new OEM thermostat since we're doing all of this stuff anyway, so it doesn't hurt to swap out the thermostat. So if you don't know where it goes right down there on the OEM water pump. Just slides right in. And well, I guess when you install this, you want to install it so that the spring is facing like in. Make sure the spring is in and this part is facing out towards us. Just for clarification on that, just in case anyone asks. Bam! We've got accessory belts back in the car, timing covers on. crank pulley torque down. So I had Melanie help me torque down the crank pulley. They have a like procedure for that, torque it down to 33 foot-pounds, then 90, and then I saw like confliction between 96 foot-pounds and 133. So I cut it right in the middle and I did, what was it, like 115 foot-pounds on the crank pulley. It's not coming off, I can tell you that much, and it freely spins still. I did check. So alternators torque back down. So we've got nice belt tension there, nice belt tension on the AC pulley condenser setup. So at this point, we're ready to get the radiator back in the car. So that's the radiator that came out of the car. It looks gross, lived its life. This is the one out of the 2017 STI that we're going to be putting in this car. I did just verify fitment. It drops right in. It's the exact same as that one is. So with that, actually, there's like an extra little hump on that one that this one doesn't have. I'm sure it'll be fine. So I'm gonna get this one in the car. That one I'll probably either sell or scrap or something. I don't know if anyone even wants to use that one, but let's get this guy thrown in. And then at that point, we pretty much have a reassembled engine. So another day down, timing in the car is complete. Radiator's back in. I need to get a new radiator for this car. Unfortunately, the 2017 radiator for the other STI doesn't fit because the mounting tabs are in different spots and the way the fans mount up are just too different that I can't make it work. So I do have that one back in the car for now for temporary uses, so we'll swap that out for like a Koyo in the future, or just down the line we'll get that knocked out. But we're almost ready to start the car. We're actually going to start the car tomorrow in the next video. So it once again got exceptionally dark outside very quickly, but looking in here, so what do we got? We have our radiator back in. We have our new upper radiator hose as well. The lower hose, I had to reuse the old one because the new one just wouldn't fit no matter how I put it in there. It kept folding on itself like right on one of these bends. It's unfortunate. So, I mean, that one's just fine down there. This was the one that was the main concern. So we have this one in here. That's all that matters. Radiator's back in. Like I said, one of the mounting tabs right here is broken for this like coolant bypass to go up to the actual cap and then to the overflow. The overflow is also zip tied on here, but I'm not too worried about the overflow right now because our boys over at Killer B are sending us an awesome dual overflow and coolant container for us, so we can delete that to free up some space in here and we can reduce the size of this. So super excited for those Killer B parts to come in. But tomorrow, like I said, we're going to start this thing. So all that's left to do is get the intake back on the car, fill it up with fluids, prime it, get it started, bleed everything, and we're ready to rock and roll. We're ready to rock and roll with this one. Now, I am expecting some problems to happen as soon as we go to start it, especially doing all of the work that we just did. Nothing's going to be perfect. There's going to be an issue somewhere, so let's just hope that it's not a big issue. So like I said, my hat looks all types of weird right now. So like I said, you guys, that's all I got for you guys in this one. I hope this video helped kind of show how timing works and how to set timing. It's really a lot easier than people make it out to be. So like I said, I hope the video helped. If you guys liked the video, you know what to do. Go ahead, hit that like button and turn it blue, like the seats in the Subaru. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit your boy up one of these corners. No idea which one quite yet, but with that though, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies.